it's the way of saying the stuff that I have in my mind. It's the best way to explain myself.
Hello, print friends, and welcome. I'm your host, Miranda Metcalf. Each week, I chat with artists who use print-based media to do something beyond the expected. This is a bilingual podcast, so if you subscribe to us, you'll be getting episodes in English as well as Spanish with Ronaldo Gil Zambrano. Together, we speak with printmakers around the globe about their practice and passions in the world of printmaking. Hello, Print Friend is brought to you by Speedball Art Products, who've been offering a diverse range of high-quality products to your creative practice since 1997. Products like their line of professional screen printing tools. Speedball believes that professional-grade quality doesn't have to ruin your budget. Their aluminum squeegees, scoop cutters, and high mesh count screens are perfectly suited to outfit your workspace without changing your books from black to red. So if you want to upgrade your space from hobbyist to pro, head on over to Speedball's website, where you can pick up your new favorite setup. There's a link in the show notes. My guest this week is Anna Trojanowska, a winner of the 2022 5x5 exhibition. 5x5 is a juried exhibition that takes place during Print Austin, a spectacular month-long festival which includes 60 print-focused events and serves thousands of audience members annually. The exhibition will feature 5 artists and hang at Ivester Contemporary for an in-person show from December 11th, 2021 through January 22nd, 2022. Online programming is going on now, so make sure to check out Print Austin's Instagram for details, not to mention Anna's takeover this week. In this week, Anna and I talk about her love of lithography and getting lost in the process, litho on marble, running her own studio, and the ways in which she uses the limits of two-dimensional composition to break the laws of physics. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and prepare to meet the woman with the heart of stone, Anna Trojanowska. Hi, Anna. How's it going?
Oh, great. Thank you, Miranda. I'm very happy that I can talk to you right now.
Yeah, I'm really happy you could join me too. I've actually seen your work over the years in various catalogs or exhibitions. And then when Print Austin invited me to interview you in collaboration with the Print Austin Expo, I was really happy because I'm looking forward to getting to know you and your work more.
Oh, I'm happy too.
So would you mind, to get us started, just giving yourself an introduction and just telling people who you are and where you are and what you do?
Okay, so my name is Anna Trojanowska. I live in Poland. I'm a printmaker from Poland, but I'm not only doing printmaking because I worked in Art Academy of Art and Design in Wrocław, and I was teaching lithography for 12 years, and since 6 years from now, I have my own studio, and it's not lithographic studio, but it's a studio of interface design. So right now I'm teaching interface design. I'm doing a lot of animation and graphic design stuff, but I'm all the time lithographer, but not teaching lithography, but working on lithography in my own studio. So that's how it looks right now.
All right. And then where did you grow up and how did you come to art in that part of your life?
Okay, so I grew up here. So I grew up in Poland, actually in a small village quite close to the city, Wrocław, that I work right now, and I decided to live with printmaking just after secondary school, because before I thought that living with art and doing art makes no bigger sense for living. But actually, that was the thing that I loved so much that I decided to go to secondary school, art school. And then I went to some plein air with students from Art Academy. and it was a printmaking plein air. And they were quite boring because they were sitting, cutting those plates and those, linos. And it was for us because we were two young girls from secondary school, and looking at them sitting during all the night and doing some strange stuff that we didn't understand. And after the plein air, I thought that, okay, so I know that printmaking is the thing that I don't want to do in my life. And after 1 year, I decided to go to start studies in art academy, and I decided to do printmaking definitely because those strange people working by night over those linos and plates, copper plates and stuff like this. They were so involved in those things that they were doing that it made me thinking about this. Even if I first thought that it's something pointless and, nothing that I can do in my life, but actually I cannot imagine living without printmaking.
Yeah. So what do you think was the difference for you from, having that plein air experience to really connecting with it and deciding that it was something that you wanted to do? Like, why printmaking? Why not oil painting or ceramics?
Okay, it was like I was good in drawing, and I thought that I would like to draw all of my life, but how to draw, what to draw, or when I found out those people in the plein air that they were cutting things, and they did drawing, but they did drawing in very strange way for me because it was my first contact with printmaking, and actually this what they printed was much more interesting than the sketches. And I thought, oh my God, maybe that's the way. And then during studies, I just went to some printmaking studio. Actually, I didn't know a lot about printmaking, but I decided to choose lithography because I knew some artists before, and I immediately fell in love. And it's the longest love of my life.
Your true love, yeah.
Yes. So right now I'm very, very happy because I have a press in my garage. So actually I can go there anytime I want, and I can just draw or just do other stuff connected with working on the image or with preparing papers or other things. There is a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
Not only drawing, but I just love it. You can feel safe there. You can feel relaxed, and you are in a place that everything is predictable. Okay, not always. It's printmaking. It's not predictable.
Right. It's lithography. Yeah.
Yeah. But actually, you feel safe, and it's like super safe place that you can rest and you can refill your batteries. So that's perfect for me.
Yeah. Well, I would guess having that space in your own home that's your studio, it's not a shared studio. You're not going to come in and find that, someone didn't, put the lid back on tightly on the ink, or, didn't clean the Baron or anything like that. Like it's your space, and you can kind of just get totally absorbed in there and just have that little garage studio be your world, is what it sounds like.
Yes, actually it is like this because before, when I was in shared studio, it was like just like you said before, that there's no racks, there's no such things, or things are dirty, or there aren't in place that you expected, and it was a bit unpredictable. And right now, okay, it's not very clean studio, it's messy studio, it's full of some strange notes or strange stuff that I think that I may use or that remind me something, but I know where everything is, and it's really helpful. So it's way better to have your own studio than to have a shared one, especially when you work as a student, or after working as a student as a assistant in studio. Then they come people that come like a comet. So they just do things and they get out and leave everything messy. So right now, if there's a mess, it's my mess, and I did it. So it's I'm the only person I can blame.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a different element that when you go into a studio or really any shared creative space and someone else has left a mess, that's a bigger emotional hurdle to get over than your own mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you a roller and it should be super clean and you try to print in white and you print pink.
Yeah. Totally. So, do you think that it was your love of drawing that connected you with lithography or brought you to lithography as the medium that you focus in?
I think it was the beginning, because I thought that it's the most close to drawing. Lithography is the most close to drawing because actually you're using crayons, which look and work just like pencils. So actually it was really similar. Of course, the stone is not the same as the sheet of paper, which is really painful in the beginning because, you cannot just draw, you just erase some lines that you don't want, but you have to scratch them or just grain the stone. But actually, when you draw an image on the stone, then you can feel that each trace that you leave is meaningful because you really don't trace it or start again. So you start thinking during drawing. I think it's from my point of view.
Yeah, the fact that you're not using paper and pencil and you can't just erase a mark. And you have to be, of course, very careful about getting grease on the stone. Getting your hand on. To smudge things. So I've never had that pointed out before, but that really seems true, that in lithography, it's like drawing, but the most present, intentional drawing, because the very nature of it, it's not as loose as doing, even like charcoal in a sketchbook or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything, every fingerprint, actually, everything you can print. So if you aren't very careful, you can expect a lot of not very nice surprises or nice surprises.
Well,
but not intentional. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and of course that's true, not just in the drawing, but in all the chemistry. Lithography is, of course, so famous for being really frustrating and difficult and also very rewarding. But, just people saying, look, I did everything right. It worked like this last week. And today my drawing's filling in and I just don't know why. Having this almost magical, mystic status in the printmaking world as the medium that you have to be a sort of a chemist or a magician or a wizard to really get it to work for you. How was taking on that element of the technical side for you? Did you enjoy the challenge? Was it frustrating? Was it kind of both?
Oh my God, it's super rewarding.
Oh, good.
Really. It's super. It's just fantastic because it's like okay, so I know that I want to do lithography, and what should I do to own it? That I can say everything that I want to say using a lithographic language. Okay, so I have to learn the letters to draw the words because without knowing the chemical alphabet, I cannot say any poem from my head. I have to know the alphabet, the basics, all the basics, because otherwise any phrase that I want to write will be wrong, will be mistaken, or will be bad. So the chemistry and all those magical stuff have to become not magic, but knowledge.
Right.
And that was the start for me. Actually, I think right now, of course, I make mistakes. Like, oh my God, the stupidest mistakes sometimes. But I know that it's not magic, but it's my fault because something was not enough etched or over etched, but I know it. So right now I think I'm on the level that if mistakes occur, that I know where was the mistake. So that's a good point. And of course, I love the magic of lithography. It's the most rewarding technique over any printmaking technique.
Yeah.
But of course, it's only my point of view, because when I talk with people in love in Italia, for example, or in Lino Cup, they can say the same things about their technique.
Yeah.
But definitely, lithography is my natural language, and it's like I dream in lithography. So actually, it's the way of saying the stuff that I have in my mind, and it's the best. It's the best way to explain myself.
Yeah. I mean, it really sounds like it's like your art soulmate that you two met each other and you were like, okay, let's do this. And so you've actually started a whole website dedicated to lithography. You know, your bond with the medium goes that deep. Can you tell me a little bit about why you did that and what people can find on the website?
Yes. Okay. It was some Polish Ministry of Art grant that I applied to make some kind of presentation about lithography, and it was about 20 years ago or something like this. So it's quite old thing. And at first, it was only explanation what is lithography, how does it work like, and over time it evolved to something bigger. Actually, I added some parts about technique, some parts about the test with how all the procedure works, because when I was working with students, they were really frustrated when something went bad.
Yeah.
Not, of course, normal in lithography, but if you don't understand the steps, you cannot do it properly, because it's pure chemistry. And if you don't understand the chemistry, if you don't understand the step-by-step process, you cannot do it right. So, and if you don't do it right in studio, you waste your time, you waste your paper, and you get frustrated.
Right.
So if they try it on the application on the web, they can find out when they make mistakes and why they make mistakes, what can make what they do wrong, and how can they fix it. So it was really helpful when I was teaching lithography. And first I thought that it's only for my students. And then it occurred that it's for students, and not only students, from all over the world, because I got really nice words sometimes from people from Australia, from United States, from everywhere, that, it's a good place. Thank you for doing this. It's my pleasure, really.
Yeah. Well, I really feel like because lithography is, printmaking is a small camp. It's a small friend circle. And then even within that, lithography is even smaller. And I've spoken with other lithographers, like Itazu-san in Tokyo, or Patrick Wagner in Berlin/Sweden. And it seems like, particularly before the internet, there was this circle of lithographers trading tips and techniques and like trying to get information from each other. And so I can imagine you putting this resource up online. It must be wonderful, because it really is, I think, still difficult for people to find answers to their lithography questions and understand, where did this go wrong, and how do I fix it? How do I stop it from doing it again? So I'm not surprised to hear it was very well received, because I think there are lithographers around the world trying to figure out how to make this work. Yeah.
But there is oh my God, thousands of tiny things that actually you can only see in action. So when you visit someone's studio and you can see, okay, he keeps this stuff like this. I do it a bit different way, but his way is better. So, and those things you cannot write in a book. You cannot write anywhere. You just have to see it, because for me it's something normal, and for someone it may be, wow, super super cool, thing that helps, working in a workshop or something like this.
Yeah.
So meeting and visiting other studios, it's super rewarding as well and super helpful.
Yeah. Well, I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, so I'm just about an hour away from the Tamarind Institute of Lithography.
Oh.
So I'm in lithography country right now. Have you ever gotten a chance to visit? I feel like you and, Brandon and Valkyrie would have so much to talk about.
Oh, I haven't had a chance before, and right now we have the COVID situation.
Yeah.
So I hope when it ends, and I hope that it will end soon. But I really would love to go there and visit and see all those things that they wrote in their fantastic books, because actually these are lithography Bibles.
Yeah.
Because this is really well written, this is really well done, and actually it explains everything from the chemistry to art. So every step is so well described, and my teacher, Paweł Frąckiewicz, was there on some scholarship, but it was years ago, and fame of Tamarind, it's it's in our academy.
Yeah.
It's really alive.
They're legends. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now you have another friend in New Mexico in me, so you have another reason. We'll go to Tamarind. It's I just moved here, so I haven't seen it in person myself either. But yeah, I think it's like where all lithographers have to travel at some point in their life is the Tamarind Institute, I think.
Yes, and there is another place that I would love to see in Mexico. It's La Ceiba Gráfica.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they work a similar way, because actually I don't work on limestone, I work on marble. And
yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I was surprised to see your videos, because I've only ever heard lithography limestone, and you're working on marble. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I made my doctoral research about marbles, and it was the second milestone in my lithographic life, and I discovered marble, and actually right now I definitely prefer marbles. And it was like, of course, I read before in Zennefelder's book that he tried working on marbles, but in his time, marbles were much more expensive than limestone. And right now it's opposite. So you can actually buy marbles everywhere. Even here in the village where I live, there is a small stones for architecture or for other stuff shop. So I can buy a piece of, for example, Carrara marble and work on it. And it's so cheap, and it works really well. And it's for me right now, because I'm working on marbles, I think 8 years now, and I'm working actually on one piece of marble, because the workshop is not very big, so I don't have many stones. I have few limestones and one big piece of marble glued to some granite.
Mm-hmm.
You can, buy it in. You can buy this marble slabs in 3 centimeters or 2 centimeters thick slices, and then even in the place that they sell stones, they can stick it on some other cheaper stone, and it's actually really it's better for the structure of the stone, because those glued ones are more. I prefer working on marbles, because they are oh my god, they are beautiful.
Yeah.
They are really cheap, so it's economically it's also good, and they are white. So when you work on white stone, you don't have the same that when you work on limestone, when you draw always a bit to light image.
Mm-hmm. So working on marble, is it really the same principles? Are you using the same chemical process, or is it something entirely different compared to limestone?
I think it's definitely the same. There are some slight differences, like during graining, for example. So when you grain limestone, you have to do a lot of passes because it's soft and all the sticks, all the greasy things go deeper into the stone. But marble is much more dense. It's harder. It's just harder, and when you grain it, you just grain 3 passes, sometimes 4 passes. Actually, in my case, 2 passes is usually okay, and the stone is perfectly grained. Nothing appears from before, no ghost. And when I was on some artist residency last year, in the beginning of last year in Germany, in a great studio just in the center of Munich, I was working on limestones, and I had to grain them half of a day.
Yeah.
They had really deep ghost images inside.
Oh,
so it was a lot of work to get rid of them. And in case of my stone, it just worked perfectly. So I think there is not a big difference between working, but you have to a bit recalibrate. So do some 2 or 3 proof images to see how the etching works.
Right, yeah.
You can etch much stronger, but you don't have to, but you can if you want. And for example, scratching, it's not as if you want to use some lithogravure, so dry point on the stone, for example, or other kind of scratching. It's the trace is slightly different than on limestone. So scratching on limestone is a bit better. Okay.
Okay. So that's the one way.
Yeah.
But I feel like it will be kind of a revelation for some people to hear if they don't know already, like it was for me, that you can use marble because, as you say, it's so much more accessible and so much cheaper. You know, it doesn't come from the one magical quarry in Bavaria. You know, you can't just, go down the road and get it. So is there sort of any resource on the website about using marble, or is it just, really the same principle, so people just need to dive in and try it and see what works for them?
Actually, it works exactly the same. So once I was asked by some person from internet which techniques are good in case of lithography on marble, and actually all of them are, but of course, I didn't add the information. I didn't add the information on the website, but I definitely should. Of course, I don't have time.
Yeah, that's always, artists are always behind on updating their websites. It's universal. You want to be making, you don't want to be doing websites. Yeah.
Yes, actually it's a part of my job, making websites, so
really?
I should definitely do it. But actually, it's something that you think it's so obvious that everyone knows it, and then someone tells you that it's not, and, then you think that you really should update it, but,
Yeah. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the actual art practice that you do and some of the images that people might see through Print Austin. And you have these really precise explorations of light and shadow and form and, real, almost sort of, I don't know, scientific's the right word, that sounds too cold, but, these real exploring of shape and sort of it coming off the page or disappearing into it. And they're just beautiful, and they're these wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah, they're really, really lovely, and they're these wonderful studies of these individual elements in art and how they kind of all move together. And I guess I'm curious for what was your journey as an artist to find that you were going to take on a more sort of abstract, although it's not really abstract art, but it's sort of a more abstract exploration of image, as opposed to just, I'm going to draw trees or I'm going to, do portraits. You're really looking at these individual elements and how our eye interacts with them. Yeah.
Actually, I started with realistic stuff because I started with drawing some fruits and some repetitions of fruits, and from those repetitions become less fruity over the time. And afterwards, I decided to remove fruits from my repetitions.
Uh-huh.
And that's what led, because I thought that I cannot do art connected with social things. I cannot do art connected with some real life related things, because I think that my art, of course it's only my point of view, but I think that if art is free from all those connections, it can stay longer. The more I was digging, the less I tried to connect anything related to real world into my print. And afterwards, that I discovered something obvious, so it was not a big discovery, but actually all of us have some code that can help us to understand flat image, because all of us understand perspective, all of us understand all those relations between objects. So you can see flat photo or flat image, and you understand the distance, you understand the relationship between us and the shadows and everything. And I thought, maybe I can manipulate using this code, because actually everything on the flat image is flat.
Yeah.
So I can move shadows, I can detach shadows from the objects. I can just, work with light and with objects and with shadows individually. So I can cut objects from the shadows, for example, or I can just make things that are not physically proper, but I can make a new physics in my works. What stops me? So actually, it's a great field of experimentation and a great field of making all those tiny movements that makes it not totally copying of real life, but a smooth movement between real life and my, let's say, imaginary composition that I can do using this code that everyone can decode. So, and it's super. It's always there is always so many options that I can dig in.
Yeah, because when you're not like just only producing images that are reproductions of what's in the world, and you're using these individual elements, like you said, like perspective and shadow, you truly have an infinite amount of compositions, because you don't need to worry about realistic possibility. And I think that's what we see in your work, where you see shadows and perspectives that seem to sometimes be sort of breaking the laws of physics a bit and moving into another plane of reality. So yeah, you're not bound by, does this look like this existing object or experience? That's really interesting. I haven't thought of it that way before, but yeah, you're right. Like, you can continually return to this theme almost for forever, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the problem, actually, because, sometimes I make notes and, okay, that's another composition, and you make thousands of sketches. Some of them are really bad, and some of them, remind sometimes, some of them become prints afterwards. But, the possibilities are just endless.
Endless, yeah, absolutely. And so I saw a video of you online, and it's actually, you're doing an artist talk, and then you cut to these really beautifully shot videos of some of your process. And what you do is you go into a dark room and you actually set up sort of matches or something on the stone and do an exposure. And then you say, but this is super toxic, don't do this at home. But I'm kind of wondering, what is that process? And then, I just found that really interesting, because you're literally painting with light and shadow in that process, not just drawing it as well. So how does that fit into your practice? And then also, what are you doing there, and how are you keeping yourself safe?
Actually, I just wanted to try the process, because drawing, it's like between print and your image in your mind, there is a long path. So you can make thousands of mistakes, and it doesn't look like this what you have in your head. So I was always thinking how to shorten this distance. And when I was working with light, with thinking about those shadow light related things, I thought that maybe stone should be a matrix, some kind of real matrix. So not like not like making copies of some photos on the stone, but making photos with the stone. Actually, it should be a camera. So I decided to use some photosensitive materials. I did some research and I found some old Victorian processes of photography and tried with this really toxic stuff, but I just made few proofs to prove that it worked. Then, of course, I found the same process in Tamarind book. So it was quite obvious that they found it earlier, and it's not very. It's not nothing that you cannot find in literature. So it's nothing revolutionary, but only revolutionary from my point of view. Think it was the thing that I didn't put the negative to light it on the stone, but I just made a real composition of all those matches or those sticks to and expose it to make a real photo using the stone. It works, but actually it's too toxic to work with this process all the time. Of course, it's super nice for making video.
Yeah.
That video was with this process, with exactly this process, but I think I don't recommend to do it at home, definitely.
Yeah, because it makes sense that it videos well because, real-time footage of someone painstakingly drawing on a stone, it doesn't make for a dramatic effect, right? Just having an image slowly come together. But this really was, I can put a link to the video in the show notes for the talk here because it was really impressive and quite dramatic as well. But, and so that video, and then there's also a really charming animation of little stones leaving the garden at the end of it too. Is that sort of the other side of what you do when you said you do lithography, but you also now have a studio that does animation and sort of digital work as well? Is that a part of that then?
Actually, I do it. I do a lot of commercial things. I think I don't want to talk about them right now. But sometimes when you don't want to do commercial things, you have to do something connected with not your clients, but things that, for example, you do as a hobby, or as a passion, like lithography. So I and my friends, we decided to make some videos about lithography because he found this process really exciting, and that's why those two movies were made. But before I thought that we should make some more movies, but the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's interesting because, right now, like, video is so powerful for the internet. It's what does the best on Instagram. It's what, websites now are made of, just like whole video splashes, sort of welcoming videos. And, we love it, right? Humans love watching it. And it's really done, I think, wonders for printmaking because it's a medium, and particularly lithography, that people generally don't understand. People out in the world don't really get what they're seeing. And the fact that there's now thousands and thousands and thousands of videos out there that are process videos that someone can look up, like if I'm at a party and I'm trying to explain to people what I do, and I'm like, no, hold on, give me a second, let me show you. It's a print. See, it's coming off the paper. I think that it's done real wonders for printmaking and its knowledge, its accessibility and its education around it, but also it's sort of, in a way, I almost feel burdened by it because making videos is so time consuming and doing it right is so time consuming. But it's like now where this bar has been set, though, is documentation via video. And it just seems like it's almost another thing that artists have to take on in order to try and get attention in the world. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, definitely, yes. But it depends if they want to have attention.
Yeah, right.
Or if they don't. That's why, for example, I don't have an Instagram account because I know that it's really heavy stuff to keep. Actually, I know people that are active on Instagram and they use a lot of their time to put nice images, good quality images, and they are tracking the what people say, what people like, and so on. And actually, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, the lithography is really my private stuff. You know, of course, I send it on some exhibitions, on some competitions. I try to be active, but to think that I like in lithography is lithography, not the other things.
Yeah.
That's why I made only those two movies because, and it's not about promotion. It's more about, you know, having fun during making the movies. And
yeah.
But of course, I know that it's bad, bad from the commercial point of view.
No, I really respect that, and you're completely right. And I actually had this realization a couple of weeks ago, and it made me really mad. And I realized that Instagram doesn't actually do anything. It's making us feed it. Like, we're the ones who produce content for it. And Instagram is just sitting there getting rich, and they've created this product that they don't really have to do anything. And they've just created this system where everyone kind of produces something, creates something, puts their artistic output, their creative expression for free. But yeah, so that's my rant about Instagram and that realization that Instagram just sits there and gets rich, and we just give away what we make to it.
Yes. For free. For free. We are giving our time. We are giving our, everything.
Everything. Yeah. And it's not like any other business that's like produces a product or service. And I guess you could say like the hosting is the service, but like, anyway. So yeah, I really respect and love that you keep that private and you just submit to competitions, like Print Austin, which is what connected us. And I don't know, I feel like the Instagram era is in its sort of twilight. I feel like people are getting sick of it and are starting to understand that they are kind of being taken advantage of, and that it's this constant demand for new material that's exhausting, and it's not really human. I run the Instagram page for the podcast, and I've been really sick this last week. You might be able to hear it a little bit still in my voice. I just, not COVID. I got a test, and the person I got sick from got a test, and it all was negative. But just a really bad chest cold, head cold, exhausted. And I haven't posted on the Instagram for a few days because I just have been sleeping. And it's like, I open it up, and it's like Instagram like punishes me. It's like the algorithm is like, I'm not putting your stuff in front of anyone anymore, and you lost followers. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like you're not allowed to be human. Like I can't even like take some days off because I'm sick. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see the post Instagram art world, because it did have for, a decade such sort of like a stranglehold on artists. And I think we're starting to see that come to an end, and people stepping off and, really thinking about their work in different ways. Like you are. Yeah.
I think I'm all stuff. I'm looking at my kids because I have two daughters. One is 14, second one is 10, and they don't have they don't want to have Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
But they have other spaces that for me are totally new and totally things that I don't understand. And I think this is the future. Maybe we don't understand it, but this is the future.
Yeah.
And I wonder how the internet will look like in few years, because right now their internet of my daughters looks totally different than mine. So, and I'm not the future. They are the future. So
absolutely.
Let's wait and let's see. And we have to accept it.
Totally. Yeah, the 14 and 10-year-old girls of the world are absolutely leading the way, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm hoping, too, if you could speak to, just kind of printmaking in Poland more generally, because I actually associate Poland with having a really strong printmaking culture and printmaking tradition. I've known a few printmakers who have gone and studied there or done printmaking there under different circumstances, but I've never talked to a native-born Polish printmaker about her impressions. Like, was it something that you were aware of growing up? Do you feel a sense of Polish printmaking pride? What's the sort of national relationship to it in your point of view?
I think that we are aware about Polish printmaking pride, as you said, and we know we know it, and it's quite a huge thing, because just fantastic that Polish School of Printmaking is so well known, and we have so many great printmakers. But I think it's like nothing appears from the air. So we had great teachers, we had a great relationships between academies and between artists that work here. And of course, we are looking at the other artists, and that's not only Polish art, not only Polish printmaking schools all over the world, but we have great connections with other printmakers. We have internet right now, and before we had some contacts from other people. But yes, I know that Polish printmaking is good, and I admire a lot of Polish printmakers. Actually, 2 days ago, I went to some exhibition. It was 11th Triennial of Polish printmaking in Katowice, and it was 60 pieces of wonderful prints, and I'm still impressed. It's fantastic to have great relief printers. We have great lithographers. We have really fantastic interior working people, installation working artists. So, wow. There's a lot of wonderful things I've seen, so actually I'm really inspired right now.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I would love to visit Poland and see the printmaking there, because, like I said, it's just, I guess, I don't know, maybe sort of like legendary, when you think of like the great printmaking countries of the world. I really think Poland is up there, and other parts of what we call Eastern Europe as well. But yeah, I think that real dedication to the craft of printmaking and the craft of drawing, I see that a lot coming out of Polish artists and studios in Poland, and it's just beautiful to see. Yeah. So can you tell us, as we're sort of wrapping up here, what are you looking forward to? What's on the horizon in 2022 that Anna thinks is going to be good?
Oh, I hope that the COVID will end.
Yes, cheers.
We can travel, and we can travel, because, it was those 2 years sitting here. I'm really happy because I have fantastic people at home, really great people at work, and no problem with working online. But I miss the people from abroad. Actually, I really miss them, and I would like to go somewhere, see something, talk to some people, not only by Skype or by other media, because it's really frustrating that you cannot move, you cannot see, you cannot touch, that you're just sitting with the computer. And I think we are all enough.
Yes, I think we've definitely all had enough. Yeah, absolutely.
And we are right now in the academy in really hard times because of some paper and bureaucratic things, and I hope that next year it will be less of it. So it's my another hope, and I hope that I will have some time to make more prints because, it makes me happy, it makes me relaxed, and it's like a meditation. Because to make another stuff, you have to first release the stuff that you have in your head and make a empty head for another thing. So I hope to have the empty head.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That is so true. It's like the best way to get to the other side of feeling overwhelmed and anxious and just, not like myself is to find something I can do to empty my head. Yeah, I love it. It's great. Well, where can people find you? I know you said you didn't have Instagram, but if someone did want to see your work, it would probably be the lithography website. Is that really the best place?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And there is a authors page, and on the authors page there is a series of my works. But I think that last 2 years I didn't add a thing. I think I didn't add print, but I will do it soon. Yes, definitely.
Yes.
But in other places, I think in some exhibitions, I try to send my work to some exhibitions, and I'm really happy that sometimes I'm accepted, like in Print Austin. So to visit Austin right now, that he should go to Investor Gallery. And there are 2 of my prints, so I'm inviting.
Yeah, we'll definitely put links, of course, to Print Austin and all of that in the show notes for this. And then, the lithograph website is just like Lithografia, so it's like lithograph, but LITOGRAFIA.PL. So it's like lithograph, but with no H and F. Anyway, I'll put a link in the show notes so people don't have to worry about it. But yeah, it's a really great resource for sure. Well, thank you so much, Anna, for speaking with me. It's been a real pleasure talking lithography, and I do hope you get a chance to visit New Mexico. We have Tamarind here, we have Landfall Press here, another great lithography studio, and we'd love to be a part of hosting you out here in the desert and, teaching you how much more you need to sponge when there's like no humidity at all in the air and that kind of thing.
Oh, it has to be really, it sounds really different than here.
Yeah, I think it will be, but it's really been a pleasure to chat, and I will definitely be in touch, and I look forward to seeing your work at Print Austin. I will be there, so I'll get to see it in person, I think for the first time. Like I said, I've seen it in catalogs and, on different websites for exhibitions and that sort of thing, but it'll be a real treat to see it in person, and I hope that after COVID, you and I can meet someday too.
Oh, it will be great, and thank you for the interview.
If you liked today's episode, we do have a Patreon, where you can help us keep the lights on and get bonus content, like Shop Talk Shorts with our editor, Timothy Pauschak, who digs deep on materials, process, and technique with our guests. And that's our show for this week. Join me again next week when my guest will be Amzi Imans. We talk about building community in the face of civic infrastructure failings, outdated commercial print technology repurposed for fine art, and how and why we build connections for printmakers in the digital sphere. You won't want to miss it. This episode, like all episodes, was written and produced by me, Miranda Metcalf, with editing by Timothy Pauschak and music by Joshua Weber. I'll see you next week.